Stefan, we are officially live. Here we go.
Welcome all to round 7 here of SRW Super 2s, proudly brought to you by DSL Welding Services and Dragonrc. Tonight we're here for a 70-minute race around Le Mans, Circuit de la Sarthe. Obviously in the V8 Supercars, this is going to be a race of draft and fuel saving, I'd say. So we get on board here as we've got Stefan Lawrence currently on pole with the only time under a 4-minute that we've seen all week in all categories. So he's definitely on the pace, so it's going to be very interesting to see how we got. We've got Peter Pavlovich in second, closely followed by Bradley Wall and Roy Clark in fourth at the moment, with about 12 minutes left in quali, so approximately sort of around here, 3 laps, which is about what you'd probably want as well in the tank bed, is it? You outlap 2 flying laps as well. So, what's your thoughts on tonight's racing, Todd? What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, it's going to be very interesting. We'll see a lot of teamwork, I believe. I'm hoping to see a lot of teamwork, people working together, and I think we'll probably actually see quite a lot of people, even if they're not teammates, if they're out in the middle of nowhere. It's a pretty lonely track. Halfway through this race will be pretty lonely. Even a third the way through the track will be through this race will be pretty lonely if you don't have a teammate or somebody to work with and try and push yourself to the front. So yeah, we'll see a bit of bump drafting, etc. And everybody. I'm not sure about the bump drafting, but we'll definitely be seeing some definite use of slipstream and using the benefits of it at least.
Yeah, for sure. I reckon it's going to be a good race. Obviously, fuel saving is going to be massive if we happen to get a train. It looks like Bradley Wall's actually managed to break the 4-minute barrier as well and get into the 59.9, only not too far behind Stefan Lawrence. So, it's a great lap there by Bradley. He's really showing some pace in the last couple of weeks, even in the Porsches. He was running third there for a little bit on Thursday night. So, I think we're in for a good race. It should be good fun. We've got, 10 minutes left or 12 minutes left in quali now. So, these guys will probably just start to run, gear out for their last runs and really put in their lap times. Haven't seen a lap time yet from Braden Martin, who's obviously been always up there and on the podium the last few rounds. So it's interesting to see if he'll qualify, or maybe he's got some other team tactics going there as well and starting from the back, and he's just going to save fuel. So yeah, it should be interesting.
Should be very awesome, especially being the enduro with the pit situation as well. We'll see a bit of tactics and strategy going on here as well. We did see a bit of team tactics in the Porsches with the 1-2.
Yeah, it definitely did, as we saw Matty Dowse let Alex Court just through the end there for a bit of team tactics, and I think it's made, off the top of my head, Alex, after Adam's sort of internet issues and obviously dropping out and finishing, I think it was P16-ish. I think he's only about 30 points between those two now, where it was about 280 odd. So, that championship there is closed right up. The team's championship and the Porsches have also closed up between Chris Cross and After Dark Sim. So I think it's going to be quite interesting. We've got Stephen there giving. Who is that? I think that's.
Yeah, it looks like Stefan Lawrence, is it? No, it's not.
I think Stefan's in the
Golden.
Mustang.
That's
Same livery, but.
Yeah, what number car we got? We got a 96. That is Jacob Hughes.
Jacob Hughes. So Stephen's giving Jacob a nice tow here. The downside to sort of being this close if you're in Jacob's position right now is, you do lose a little bit of mid-corner speed through those sort of chicanes because obviously you get dirty air and you'd lose a bit off the front. But as you can see, he's gained that all right back on the straights, which I reckon it's going to be an insane race. Super 2's put on some great racing in the last few rounds, and we've had some, Zolder was eventful to say the least, where we had some people you wouldn't sort of expect come towards the front. Kellen Hodgkinson, I think he started about 13th in one race and finished 4th. So, he's always one that comes from the back. So I think it's going to be good fun.
You still got my mic?
Yep. You obviously got Dean Sinkovich there. He's been in 10th position currently with a 4.025. He's been putting in some great races so last, different cars obviously, but he's been putting in some good races lately. He finished 5th for those that watched our broadcast, I won't give hopefully any spoilers away, but for those that watched the F3 race at Snedderton on Tuesday night, he managed to get P5 in that. So, that's a personal best for Dean Sinkovich there. So, he's only getting better and better as the season goes on. And you got other people there. Luke Crum, he's was sort of outside the top 10 at the start of the season, and you can see him there sitting in P6 on a what was it, a 4:01.4, so he's only 14ths off P4 at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be good. You can be a second slower at this track, maybe even two, and that draft will keep you with these quicker guys, especially if you've got two cars in front of you drafting it out, battling it out. You can quite easily catch them. So I think it's going to be good fun. 7 minutes left in quali. I think these guys are either starting or finishing their effective final quali laps. So we should either start to see the times tumble, or we might just have it as it is, and some people will just be happy to set a lap time, get that top 10 position, and just hold their position for until we see obviously the 2 compulsory pit stops these guys have to take. And some will either potentially short field the car so they're faster in the draft at the start, or personally how I run it is always if you got somewhat pace, for example if I was in say Roy's position or Stephen Martin in P8, I'd probably go full tank and just try and save as much as I could and hope on a safety car. Get in early, get the tyres done, and then just run the car out as well.
Yeah, 100%. I'd be trying to tuck in behind anybody just to try and save as much tyres as I could in fuel, and just use as much draft for the first half of the race, and then I'd just put the hammer down after the pit, I think, just to try and put the hammer down a bit more after the pit. That's how I'd kind of handle it, but we'll see how other people do it. In the Porsches, we had a few that pitted really quite late, actually, and it ended up being a bit of a hindrance to them, actually.
Yeah, it really depends on, obviously Le Mans doesn't seem like it's hard on tyres, and to be fair it's not super hard, but it's more, obviously with the straight lines, the better tyre condition you have, the more it'll accept the cold braking and the grip, so you will lose a couple of seconds by the time, from when you first come out on decent tyres versus those when you have to then make a pit stop. It looks like we got Callum Hodgkinson there on screen putting in a 4:02.8 for P12.
Yeah. So he's done very, very well so far.
Yeah, it's normally whereabouts he qualifies.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And then he normally makes up a good, Now, last week he made up double figures. I think the last 2 weeks he's made up double figures. So
yeah, I think
he's definitely one to watch.
Yeah, I think in Zolder he avoided all the carnage in the first race, and then in the first lap, sorry, and he went from, I think it was like 16th to 8th, something like that. Especially at Le Mans, you've got obviously slowdowns there as you run wide. If you run wide onto the straight there, it looks like he's might be finished his qualifying session there. So
let's go back up to the top, see if Stefan's back on track. Yes, he's back on track now. So
he's coming down into Indianapolis, which is a hard enough corner in a high downforce car, let alone a V8 Supercar.
Yeah, and Brad Wall did actually say that he quite liked. It's one of his favourite tracks. After the Porsches when we had him in the green room. So, well, I think he's said it. He's broken the 4-minute mark, so it's got some pace. So maybe it's one of his favourite cars is one of his favourite tracks. So we could see a bit of an upset here, guys. You never know.
Yeah, possibly. And there's still no Braden Martin to set a lap time, so I wonder if he's even in the race so far.
We'll jump out and see. I'm not sure if he seems like he's still in the pit there, to be honest.
So he might be playing on. So he's either had a bit unfortunate run and got off tracks, or he's just leaving at last minute. He will get this lap in with still over 4 minutes to go, but it's really this lap and that's it, because you won't get around for another 6 minutes after the check flag.
Any incidents on track. There's nobody come out of. He just came out of the pits very, very late.
So he's obviously just leaving it for a late run and just having one crack at it with very low fuel here. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll keep an eye to see where he pops in, because you sort of expect him to be very similar, if not in front of Stefan Lawrence up there, as he has been the pace setter so far in quali, or he's always been up there anyway. If he hasn't been far away from Stefan, if he's not on pole. So yeah, I think he's hitting all his apexes so far.
Let's jump in the gyro, see if we can see a bit of a better view here.
We'll stay on board with Braden here and let him, as we finish this lap, so crank up the volume and ride on board for this last half of lap here with Braden, as we'll leave it over to the engine. Oh, he's actually off. That's an off track, and I think he's going to pull over and possibly bin the lap.
Ah, poopies. There we go. Well, that's
It'll
got
take
to be quite disappointing. He exited the pits very, very late, and now he's. I know he knows that we're watching now, so he's onto it.
I think he's got 3 minutes left. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get around in time for another lap here.
No,
So I think he's just going to let people go.
And that's the horrible thing about this track a lot of times. And it's like, you know, if you have one bad track, if you have one bad corner, and you have one off, then you've got an invalid lap, and then it's so long to get around the whole lap again to try and find a window to still qualify in time, right?
Especially if you do it in the first game, which is very easy to do. Yeah, that's probably the worst off track, especially at Le Mans. You know, you've still got another 4 minutes until you can start another lap. It's yeah, it's probably the most painful one, I would say. Who else we got? We've got Stefan Lawrence, Peter Pavlovich, Stephen Martin, all on the pit lane.
Yeah,
so obviously
Roy Clark, number 5. Everyone's the top 4 are all happy with their laps. So they've done. Nobody's gone more than a 4-minute mark, so nobody's broken into the 4:01s in those guys that are all happy with their laps. So about that 4-minute mark, guys, is a pretty quick lap round here. So I think we'll jump on board with Roy. We are on board with Roy Clark at the moment. So we'll see if he can actually make up this little bit of a distance. He's only a couple of tenths off. He's only 3 tenths off, essentially, or 2 tenths off.
Yeah, unfortunately he's taking a bit too much curb there into with a bit too much speed, so he's got to slow down. So I think that's his quality run done as well, with only a minute 10 to go. It did look like Braden Martin just there started another lap, so.
Oh, did he?
I think he did. He definitely got he got past the start finish line in time, but he's just not going to be able to make it around. So I don't think that lap's going to count unless it allows it to go past the. So I don't think iRacing allows you to finish your lap once you hit the 30 minute. Like, it just kicks everyone off. So we'll keep an eye on it. I could be wrong, but
you never know.
Yeah, exactly. You do. I could be completely wrong and not know iRacing, because I swear it changes every day.
I swear, yeah, it does for me anyway.
But yeah, it's a bit of a more shuffled grid. You know, obviously no Braden Martin up there yet. We got Bradley Wall. He's normally pretty decent. Obviously, we normally see him more sort of around the 8th position. Peter Pavlovich is also normally, you know, back of the 10 on quali, but he always makes his way up there in race pace. So these guys that normally start sort of, you know, rear of the 10, but make their way towards the podium in the race. Oh, and Braden's. Yeah, no,
that was unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a wall.
Yeah, that's a wall. Yeah, that was another catch there.
Yeah, so you got some of these guys that normally finish, you know, back of the 10, or sorry, qualify back of the 10, starting at the front of the 10, you know, on the front row and second row. So if they normally make their way up to the podium, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys are like from the front. As we've got Daniel Schultz just coming across the line as well. They're going to improve his position. Yes, into P2 with a 3-minute 59.875. Less than a tenth of a second away from Stefan Lawrence. That's a great last minute lap there by Dan.
Very good. Very, very nice. Sorry, the cameras are just not wanting to play a game.
That's alright. I think that's pretty much everyone finished so far. So we've got Chris Tomlin's just come across the finish line in P13. So we'll run through your qualifying. We've got Dean Sinkovic, finishing his lap. I think he's got about a minute left to do it. Stay on board here and see if Dean can improve on his P10 currently with a 402 point. Sorry, my overlay's playing up. I think it's a 402.4 there so far by Dean. So he needs to gain about another 2 or 3 tenths in order to pit. To gain another position, so we'll see what he does coming into these last 4 chicanes. Second to last corner, you can take a lot more of this first curve, and you want to straighten the exit up for that, and try and avoid that curve. He's done pretty good so far. He crosses the line, and he Stays in P10, unfortunately, by the look of that. Doesn't look
He's
like he improved his time.
Ah, that's all right. It's still in top 10 for now, so I'm sure he'll make his way up there a bit more. We've got Peter Morris just finishing off his last lap as well, guys. At the moment.
I think he's going to be cut short by iRacing, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Actually, no, in saying that, being Le Mans, iRacing does give you about 5 minutes to finish a lap.
Oh, yeah, that's fair enough.
So he's
That's
coming
nice of
through.
them,
He's
at least.
Yeah, so he's in P11, he's accelerating out of that last corner. What's he going to do as he crosses the line?
Oh, what's he got? A 403.14.
So he stays in the same position there.
Same spot there.
Wasn't able, yeah. So he's
But it was a
finishing at
bit of
P11.
an improvement on his time, so that's good.
Yeah, a little bit there. So looks like that's everyone for quali. So your quali results as they wind down into the obviously the iRacing remaining time there. So we got Stefan Lawrence P1 with a 359.8. Daniel Schultz less than a tenth of a second behind him. Bradley Wall with a 359.9. So you got three people, within sort of a tenth and a half of each other. So that's going to make it very interesting there. Peter Pavlovich 4, Stephen Martin 5. Roy Clark 6, Luke Crum 7, Greg Leak for Team Greg in 8, White's in 9th, and Dean Segovich is your top 10.
Apologise for this. Oh, we've got a time delta's up.
Peter Morris P11, Killian Hodgkinson for Crisscross Racing P12, Chris Tomlin for Crum Racing in P13, Stephen Singovich for SRW in 14, and Greg Johnson in 15. You'll have a few people that obviously didn't get a lap time in there pop up on the grid as well. One of them being Braden Martin, who you'd expect to be near the front, so he's going to be making his way from the back in the 70-minute race tonight. 2 compulsory pit stops. You must take tyres, I believe, in one and fuel in both, I believe is the rules for tonight. So it's gonna be interesting. We'll just wait for these timers to obviously run down, and then we'll get you the full grid.
Oh, SDK. You know you want to do it. Stay with me 2 seconds. Apologize. Come on, display mode. All it wants to give me at the moment, mate, is that. That's all it seems to want to give me at the moment. I apologize, guys. So,
That's right. We'll wait for this grid to run through, and I can manually run through it off that overlay there. As I said, there'll be a few people at the back of the grid that may not show on the overlay, but they are in the race. One of them obviously being Braden Martin. So a few guys to keep an eye on. I reckon tonight is gonna be like obviously Stefan Lawrence is quick off the pole, but the draft is so OP here. I think we're gonna see someone from the rear of the top 10, somewhere around the Luke Crum, Stephen Martin, Roy Clark area that's probably going to come through and win this race just on fuel saving. I think that's going to be the biggest advantage tonight would be to stay behind people, save fuel, get an extra lap. These cars obviously do tyres and fuel at the same time. I think you get about 18 litres covered by your tyres, somewhere around that. So, but they also use about 8 litres a lap. So they're very thirsty cars. So I think tonight's going to be very interesting.
yes, definitely. Do you think you will see anybody do a 2-stop, you reckon, or?
Oh, there is I believe two compulsory pit stops tonight.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
We'll just double check the rules and regulations to make sure I am feeding the right information to you guys. Give me one momentary there.
Sorry, my brain was still in Porsche mode.
You're good. If things want to work. Technology is great, guys, when it wants to work. It's just a real pain in the ass when it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So what have we got?
Oh, yay! It wants to give us grid now. Here we go. Beautiful. We have grid, guys. We have grid. Let's get a good camera.
We'll run
Look
through
at
the grid
that.
here again. So we got Stefan Lawrence for Right Sim Racing P1, Daniel Schultz for Dragon RC in P2, Bradley Wolf for Crisscross Esports in P3, Peter Pavlovich Century Motorsport P4, Stephen Martin Century Motorsport P5. I believe that is a new team for Peter potentially because he was been running a green privateer livery, I believe, for the last 6 weeks. Now he's in the KFC colours. I could be wrong there. Correct me if I am in the comments. Roy Clark for Progression Racing Australia P6, Luke Crum for Crum Racing 7, Greg Leak for Team Greg in 8, Matthew Mitz for Locked On Racing, top of the Locked On boys tonight P9, Dean Stinkovich for SRW, I suppose Admin Racing in P10, Peter Morris Fishy Motorsport in P11, Callan Hodgkinson Crisscross Racing Crisscross Esports in P12. And we'll get to see if we can get the rest of the grid up for you as well if SDK wants to play a ball. Does look like we've potentially got a blinking car there in about P8 as well. Just looking at the screens there. That would be Luke Crum. It looks like it's settled down now. Oh no, it's still blinking away a little bit. Oh, it's actually Roy Clark there, sorry. Wrong grid I was looking at.
Here you go, guys. The group green.
Alright, we're away for round 7 of the SRW Super 2s. It looks like a pretty clean start for everyone here. They're roaring up to this first corner, which is not easy on cold tyres, so hold on to your hats because we didn't say cold tyres.
No, exactly right. Oh yeah, we could have just...
Oh, what's going to happen?
Oh,
yep, we've
Callan
got
Hodgkinson's come off there.
It looks like he's locked the tyre and there's a spin. Yep, it's because we didn't say cold tyres. It looks like he's just tried to avoid... It looks like he's actually just tried to avoid... I believe that's Greg there and just gone off. But I also saw another spin there on the exit of the chicane. So we got Chris and Tom on there avoiding it. So all these action replays brought to you by DSL Welding Services. So go give them a like on Facebook and obviously check out all their socials as well. So we'll see what happened here on the chicane. So we're on board with Roy Clark, who is blinking a lot. And gets tagged potential net code. I believe that was from Peter Pavlovich there in the Century Motorsport Commodore, but it did look like Roy was blinking, so potentially a bit of net code involved in that, but obviously we'll leave that up to the race control team at from 24/7 Sim Services there. I think that's... excuse me guys, I'm just losing my voice as this broadcast goes on. I think Roy had a very similar incident in last week's round as well at Zolder.
I think so, yeah. Was it the week before?
I can't remember. He definitely had a rough round at Zolder. I know that much. And I think in the week before at Nürburgring, I do remember him locking the rears and spinning a couple of times. But you can even see him in the background of the shot, still blinking away at the back. So I think he's got a bit of internet issues. And it looks like Callan Hodgkinson was going very slow in the background as well. So we'll see if we can... I think he was clearing this slowdown.
Oh, you said definitely got some suspension damage there, do you reckon?
I don't know, I think he might have been trying to clear a slowdown and being too focused on actually clearing the slowdown versus... Oh no.
Oh yeah.
What's he doing?
Oh,
there could be so many things. It could be technical issues with his rig. Yeah, it could just be so many things there that we just don't know, unfortunately, but... It looks like these top 3 have broken away, and Luke Crum's had a great start up from, I believe, P7 up into P4.
P7, up 3 positions.
So,
3 positions. And Dean Sinkovich, what a drive, mate. He's already up into P5.
P5 from
what
P10.
A drive. We've had a bit of incident with Greg Johnston and Peter Wilkinson here. We might just quickly talk to them.
Go back and have a look at this and come into this battle pack here. So, coming to the end of the straight here. Peter Wilkinson's nicely on the brakes and he's just followed him. He's just followed the car in front.
He had nowhere to go, did he? Oh,
yeah,
and Sinkovich is a bit of a moment off track as well.
Yeah, he was going side by side there with Luke, and I think he's just tried to. Yeah,
that's so easy to do there too.
It looks like he's walked out of that pretty good there. But Braden Martin is already up into P6, I believe. Looking at that from It's either P6 or P7 there. Yeah, P6 from 18th on the grid.
Wow,
He's already up 12 positions in 3/4 of a lap. He is
and Jacob
on
Hughes
a mission.
is up 10 places also, so they're
They've
both on a
followed
mission
they've followed each other through here. I think he has just decided to let Braden do all the hard work, and he's just reaped the rewards as well. So
there. Most definitely, yes.
these guys are on a mission from the back of the grid, fighting their way forward. And Peter Pavlovich, just in front of him, you know, obviously it depends what race control decide to do with that first lap incident, but there's a potential penalty holding over his head as well. So these guys could potentially already be P5 and P6 with P4 just in front of them. So that's a mega start, mega opening lap from those guys. And Daniel Schultz is actually going to pass Stefan Lawrence as well at the front. So those guys up the front are still battling away in that top 3. So I'd say Stefan might have just had a little bit of an off track there as well, because he did look like he had about half a second to a second in front of Daniel there before at our previous shot going into Indianapolis, or sorry, out of Indianapolis too. So might have had a little bit of moment, which is very easy to do with these cars, no matter what track you're at.
Most definitely.
And I believe Daniel would have just got a slow down for that as well, going 4 tyres over that curb as well. So
Let's go back to that
have a look.
replay. Daniel Schultz overtaking.
So he's
Stefan Lawrence?
looks like Stefan Lawrence. So he's actually just sent it. Nice move, made the apex.
Oh, wow.
Looked like
Did the
Stefan
old
just had
fakey,
it.
didn't he?
Yeah, I tried that in the F3s at Snetterton, and it didn't end that well.
No, it all ended in tears, yeah.
So it looked like Stefan had a little bit of a wide through Indianapolis 1, which just gave Daniel the run there, and they've obviously gone up side by side into Porsche curves, and Daniel's just gone a bit deeper into the brakes there. So, but you know, here comes the draft and how powerful this is, and if these two keep battling, Bradley's just gonna, you know, sit behind there and potentially save a bit. I know it looks like Stefan has backed off quite a bit there from Daniel.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where maybe he has a slowdown, because that's just lost the whole second there, real easy.
Oh yeah, true. And I thought he would have caught him up in the braking section as well.
Yeah, he does. He does have a.
Oh, he slowed right down. What's happened there?
I think he's either got a slowdown he's trying to clear that we haven't seen from probably the first chicane, or potentially running wide onto this straight, but we'll see if we can go back and figure out, because he's just let Bradley go by here. So unless he's playing the fuel game strategy here, but he's just pulled aside and let him go. So he's either clearing the slowdown, or he's playing. Yeah, he's on the brakes there. So pretty sure he's clearing the slowdown there, or he's got a pedal malfunction.
Always
Both are very highly likely, and it looks like Braden Martin. Braden Martin is already up into P4.
Braden Martin already up into P4. That's insanity.
Jacob Hughes in P6 as well. Yes, Peter's obviously not going to just give up these positions. He's going to try and hunt these guys down. But if I was Peter, I'd probably just, with how fast Braden's, you know, carving through this field towards the front, I'd probably just stay with him and try and, you know, keep with him while still saving a potential little bit of fuel. Because if he can be dragged up to the front, you know, he's going to bring Luke Crum and Jacob Hughes with him as well, and there'll be a seven car battle for the lead very shortly.
It's still pretty bunched up. I know it's only lap 2, but they're doing very well to stay tidy. Oh, we've had someone with a bit of a moment at the back there. I'm not sure.
Christopher Tomlin as well, and Dean Sinkovich has gone for the no bonnet aero as well. Oh no!
Had a big incident there. What's happened there? So we'll go back to see if we can go back a bit further, guys. Big incident here.
So we've got Peter Morris here in front, who... Oh, Stevens had a moment. Stevens...
Slayed on the brakes.
Yeah, I think he's lost it coming through the right-hander, and as you see the other Dean Stenkovich no bonnet freaking aero right there.
Yeah,
but
I think got the fashionable aero on today again.
Yeah, I think Steven there has just lost the car through.
Oh, wow. Oh, he's got some damage as well now, doesn't he? Yeah.
I think he's got a bit of damage there,
okay,
unfortunately.
Parts in this race. Go back to some cars with bonnets on them.
But it looks like these front 3 are all pretty evenly spread out, to be honest. There's about a second between P1 and 2, and another second between P2 and 3. And then a couple seconds back to Braden Martin, who is just in a 104.5, where Dan up front's in a 401.4. So he's not really reigning in the leader, but he has gone half a second quicker than Bradley Wall in P2, and obviously with Stefan having that slowdown there, he's obviously done a 404. So he's also, the slowdowns are so harsh from iRacing. As everyone I think can agree, they are just too much.
They are too much, but you know, I think they're too much on every single, and I think every sort of sim title that this track's in, they've always got ridiculous penalties on this track. I'm not sure if it's just this track, but this track always seems to be a little bit higher than others. Because I suppose it is easy to make up a lot of time if you do make those little cuts.
Yeah, I think it's gives you like a second slowdown off memory if you cut the inside or run too wide coming onto the straight. But in reality, you actually lose like 3 seconds by the time you clear that second. So it's not necessarily the penalties too hard. It's just the physical time it takes for you to clear it versus the actual time.
Pace, right? As well.
Yeah, as we got a side-by-side action here. Is he gonna hold? Stefan is gonna hold around the outside. Bradley.
Oh, Brad Wall getting a bit, stepping the back out there a little bit, but nice save there.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to go side by side there. He just carried a bit too much speed in as well, so it didn't really allow him to turn the carry. He just had to sort of slow down a bit. That's pretty good.
That's a great shot. We'll go down the hill here.
Shows you the sort of... In the car, you don't actually realise that part's downhill. It does not feel it.
No, it's crazy.
But
look at that,
these guys
cars. They are flying through here, guys.
Yeah, these that battle pack for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and you include Stephen Martin there in 8th. They're hunting down these top 3.
Braden Martin's getting past here because he's just clearing that penalty there by the look of that.
Yeah, he did get a bit sideways as well coming out of the end of the straight there, so I think it's going to be hard because he's getting the push from, so he was getting the push from Jacob, which sort of, pushes him back past Peter Pavlovich, but these guys are definitely showing some good speed. So it's going to be interesting to see what this lap time around with obviously Dan Schultz up the front in clean air versus Braden and Peter still sort of battling in the draft, whether they're actually gaining or losing time to Dan.
Oh no. Thought the chopper would be better to have some better shots, but obviously not. So yeah, Daniel's building up a bit of a lead here now. Wow, and he's just done a 401 in race, mate. 401.4 in race. It's not bad for what?
Pace there.
Third lap. Oh, that's a marking of things to come. We're up for a stonker tonight.
Yeah, it's there for sure, especially if he keeps his pace up. Obviously there'll be a few, obviously this could be also light fueled versus heavy fueled cars as well. You don't know what these guys are doing until the actual pit stop, and then you get an idea obviously how long they've run into the race, and that's a lot of curb by Bradley there. That might almost be a slowdown for him there. We'll keep an eye on that as he's coming out of here. He does look like he's pulling back a touch. But he's done a 4:07 this lap by Dan Schultz, and Stefan Lawrence has done a 3:59.7 in race. That is quicker than qualifying.
That is crazy. That's definitely some clean air. That's if you want to look at the advantages of clean air, that's it right there. In a nutshell.
He had that little bit of help in the draft as well when he passed Bradley, but that's, anytime you go faster in race, which is obviously probably higher fuel as well, it's nuts. It just shows you how quick these guys are going. Obviously Braden, what did he do? A 4:01.6. He was gaining on Bradley, but not on the first 2. So it's sort of like it looks like his pace is sort of plateaued out a little bit potentially.
Jacob Hughes, he was up 11 positions, guys. He's had a bit of a moment here.
He's coming through turn 4. Is he just going to hit the grass? Yeah, he's just, almost saved it. He was so close to saving it.
He was, eh? Oh, we never like to see that, guys.
It's always the old thing, you save it and then you overcorrect it because you don't think it's saved. That's a bit unfortunate for the right sim racer of Jacob Hughes as he's falling back through the field. But in all of this, Kellen Hodgkinson, after being dead last and stopping at the first chicane on the first lap, is already back up into P10.
Oh, that's a serious effort.
That
And
is insane.
That is insane.
You can see him there in the background just coming up to the first chicane. So obviously he's lost a lot of ground in terms of track position, but with everyone else's misfortunes and everything, he's already back into a top 10 position. He's doing, what was his last lap time there? 403.6. So he's not gaining anything on the guys in front except for he did just gain 12 seconds on Matthew Mitz there, position in front. Looks like he might have had a bit of a
these
moment.
guys are having a bit of a battle. Maybe this is what's slowing it all down. Maybe.
Yeah, possibly there. It does look like Dean.
Maybe a bonnetless car might have to do something to do with it, but who knows?
Possibly.
Yeah. I'm sure, like, even little things like that, not having a bonnet and just a little bit of damage on this track, because it is so long and it's so reliant on your top speed and those big long straights. It makes a huge, huge difference. I think you'd lose a lot more time on, say, this track than you would on a lot of other tracks because of that point,
Oh, for sure. It's yeah, it always happens, even if it's a track like Spa, for example. The longer, obviously, more Bathurst, the longer the track, the more lap time you lose, especially if it's straight line speed. It's, yeah, you can quite easily lose 4 to 5 seconds around a track like Le Mans.
Because as you were saying as well earlier, it's about that. It's not about the time you have to slow down for. It's about the time that it takes for you to get back up to the same speed as everybody else's car. And if they're going down a massive straight, mate, they're not slowing down. So.
Yeah, exactly. And they're hitting the red line a few hundred meters before the braking zone. It does look like Stefano's here. Just got past Dan as well.
A bit of a moment with Braden Martin here. He just had to take it a bit. He was going to lock up, so he had to do that, I think. It looked like it was either that or you spin, wasn't it?
Looks like he's going to lose position here to these three as well and fall back to, I believe, about P7 behind. Was Peter Pavlovich going to get him as well? Looks like he does have to run
battle with Braden. That all shuffled and he didn't get any profit out of it, did he? Oh, poor Pete.
Looks just cleared him there coming into Indianapolis 1, so it's side by side doesn't work there, boys.
No, it does not at all. We'll see.
But
jump back on board with these boys in this little battle pack here for now.
Yeah, it does look like these guys. It does look like Stefan up the front's just got the pace. He was 3 seconds a lap faster than Dan last lap, 2 seconds quicker than Bradley. But these guys from P4, 5, 6, and 7 are all so similarly paced. It looks like Braden does have the pace, but he just doesn't quite have the consistency at the moment. We've seen a few unforced errors there by Braden, so he may choose to do the early pit stop, fresh tyres, and just sort of get some clean air as well, potentially. But obviously we're only...
not Braden Mutton's brother. No,
yeah. Not his long lost brother. But yeah, we're only 17 minutes into a 70-minute race, so there's still a very long way to go. Just under pretty much 50 minutes, 52 minutes left. So anything can happen in that time frame.
Oh, definitely, 100%, especially in these cars. Especially when they start to get a bit tired on the old tyres. We shall see some fireworks, I'm sure.
Yeah, and with these guys battling as well, it's actually allowing P8 and P9 to catch them. Although not overly fast, it's only 3 or 4 tenths a lap, but over Le Mans, it all adds up. So this is going to show you guys the effect of the slipstream as well. You got Luke Crum.
Look at that.
Just destroying Stephen Martin on the straight. He's backing out of it to save a bit of fuel here, but then you back out to save fuel, and you saw there that Peter Pavlovich and Braden just started to absolutely claw towards them. And now it looks like Peter may even have a potential run on Luke coming into it. So it's so hard when you're in a position like Luke. Obviously, you couldn't pass Stephen there without making almost like a dive bomb sort of move, which could, you know, ruin everyone's races. So you back out and be safe, but then it allows Braden and Peter behind to set up for the same dive bomb move. So it's so tricky when you're in a battle pack, as to, you know, you obviously got to have to trust these guys around you and to race.
Yeah,
But
to
at the
race
same
that.
time, they're races, so, you know, if you back off too much, they will just pass you.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's the thing, like, I think this is a great shot of how you see, we'll go down this massive straight, and as you come down into the next corner, you see how quickly they bunch up when they're hard under brakes. So we're coming down into Indianapolis now, guys. I just recognise it because of the Toyota hybrid sign. So we're coming down into the Indianapolis, this left-hander here. You see how much they bunch up as they come in? Because they're coming right down. So then it's really about keeping that middle of apex corner speed up, so then you can get a great exit on this track. If you don't get that great exit, as you see, everyone bunches up with the slipstream on the straight, and then bunches up in the braking zone. And then if you're not quick on your exit, you're going to be up the creek a little bit, or you're going to be spun around if you're going to be a bit too give it too much jandle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, this is not a track you'd normally see V8 Supercars go to, even whether it's you know, officials or anything. I think they've been here maybe once, and
Oh yeah.
you know, these cars have been out for, what are we going on, 2 years, I believe they came out ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, and what's that, like 8 seasons of iRacing, they've been to this track once. So it sort of shows you, you know, it's not really it's not necessarily that these cars don't suit this track. It's that it's just no one's used to this car track combination. So it's so hard to, you know, get used to something where, you know, if you took the V8s to even a track like Barber Motorsports or something, which is in the officials every couple of seasons, at least you can, you know, get setups from your respective setup shops, whether it's VRS, PDS, Craig setup shop or whatever. No one's got a setup for Le Mans, so everyone's had to, you know, sort of create their own.
Yeah, just try and kind of,
Oh,
true.
sideways there by Luke, and he's going to
Oh,
lose a
where's
couple
that
of
Luke Crum
positions
out?
there.
Was there? Oh, he's just dropped a couple of spots there, guys. We won't go
Yeah,
back to
so
the replay because we were right on the money when that happened. In fact, Peter Wilkinson's just a little while ago had a bit of an incident, I think, too. So we might just jump on there with.
And Peter's good save, Peter. Great save.
Oh, what a save, mate! Wow.
That's impressive. Well done, man.
That was very good. Oh, that was impressive, mate. That was definitely made me hold my breath a little bit there. Oof.
Yeah, looks like he's just clipped the glass. But we'll go back and have a look at a couple of DS, how well he serves his action replays here. A couple of things that are happening a little bit further back in the packs. I believe Peter Wilkinson here, coming down the end of the straight. I think he's just gonna lock it too much. Yeah, he's just run it
is really getting
wide.
everybody, isn't it?
It isn't. It's gonna allow. Oh, he's actually lost it the other way.
It. Please, nobody hit him. Oh, that's a pretty unsafe re-entry. But
yeah, it's not the best re-entry there we've seen there by Peter, but
I think he's just trying to get out of the way, isn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Half the time it is just panic trying to get out of the way without realizing that you weren't in the way, essentially.
And if you're already in, and especially in these, you put into reverse, and it takes that kind of split second for it to jump back. Because so he might have been on the gas in reverse already, and then someone's come around the corner and he's gone, oh crap, you know. So it would have been interesting being inside of that car, I think. We'll go to Luke Crum as well, see what's happened with this little bit of
So he's coming through the first.
Yeah, he's already dropped back there, so we'll just drop back to.
I believe this is where he just gets a little bit.
Oh, sorry, wrong one. I'm going to the wrong one. Here we go. I apologise.
So he's coming through the first chicane here. Just too much gas by the look of it. Just a little bit sideways.
You think the tyres might be affecting it a little bit now? I suppose we're not
potentially. What are we on? Lap 4? Oh, sorry, lap 5, I believe. It's lap 6. Yeah, eventually I'll get to the right number. Yeah, potentially. Like they'll definitely be starting to feel it. You won't have the same peak performance as you would in the lap, first few laps. So it's definitely a little bit wearing. Obviously, this track's going to be hard on the rear tyres more than the fronts because it's 80% traction zones essentially. So Yeah, a little bit of tyre wear, a little bit of probably potential lack of concentration there as well. So it looks like this obviously, yeah, Peter had that moment there as well, coming onto the straight where he's just touched the grass as well and had a sort of half spin. So
And our chief of Team Greg Team Greg Racing has had a bit of a. We've gone to a DSL action replay for that one as well.
he's got Callan Hodgkinson there behind him, coming into the braking zone at the end of the straight. Oh, he's just gone
So
far
hard
too
to
late.
pull these things up, hey, without
Yeah,
locking it up. That's what I was finding.
Yeah, it also depends on. Obviously, some people will be using auto blip, some people won't be. Depends how authentic you sort of want to get with the.
I see what you mean. You're yeah, on the downshift.
Yeah,
I see.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So some people, like for example, Greg, there might have been actually using, suppose, manual shifting, I'll call it. And if you get the wrong amount of throttle, it's so easy just for the car to, either trail on with the throttle a little bit more or over rev itself to the point where it either locks fronts or rears. Versus some people where you just smash down the gears on auto blip, and you do have to brake a little bit earlier because it's not as efficient as a manual blip, but at the same time, if it keeps you on the track, sometimes in the long run, especially a long race like this, it's the quicker way to do it. So
yeah, I see what you mean, and that's a lot of healing and towing for 70 minutes of this track, especially too.
yeah, exactly. Like personally, I use left foot braking, so I use manual blip, but I blip with my right foot essentially, and don't use the clutch. I just use the engine.
I see.
Everyone's different. You've got obviously the quickest guys in these cars, probably in iRacing, Corey Shepherd, Brian Borg, those Premier Racing guys, and obviously the Trans Tasman guys. They all right foot brake with heel and toe. So it's crazy when you see like their foot cams and obviously their streams that they respectively have. It's
amazing.
You wonder how they do it.
I'll say I can do it, but not well and not consistently. That's the thing. Like I can do it, but I'll nail 3 out of 8 corners kind of thing, maybe. And it's just
3 more than me.
Yeah, just very, very. I do the whole left foot brake as well, so it's a little bit easier. I completely understand where you're coming from on that one, but with the old heel and towing, I've been trying to master it for quite a while now, and I don't believe I will ever. So a lot of respect for those guys out there.
It's just gone a bit deep and hit Peter there going into the second chicane. I think Peter was trying to give him room, and Luke just wasn't sure what was happening to. Yeah, he's just going to readdress that position there on the exit because I don't think it was just a bit of confusion there between those two. But we'll see if we can get a DSL
it's easy enough to do as well.
Action replay. Oh, for sure. It's especially when you're sort of like you commit to a move, but then you're like, oh no, I'm not going to make it to that sort of B pillar area where you've got to be to almost command track position, I suppose. So we'll have a look here. So it looks like the slipstream has allowed Peter to go past, going into the first chicane. Made a nice clean move, but hasn't got the apex there like Luke has. So Luke's got a better run coming out of the chicane, and then he's going to slipstream straight back past him by the look of this. We'll stay on board here and see if I'm correct.
Wow, look at the effect of that slipstream is insanity, isn't it?
Yeah, and as these guys burn off,
exactly when he gets in the zone, it just starts. The pull just gets more and more.
Yeah, so he's just a little bit. He wasn't fully committed there, so he's just given Peter a little bit of a bump going into the turning area. So he's just gonna breathe the throttle there and allow him to go back past, which is the right thing to do there. So kudos to him for doing the right thing before being forced to essentially, or being potentially penalised there.
Very, very cool. Very respectful racing, guys. Impressive. I think we should just stay with one little. We've got to have one little thing. Stephen Martin. He was up in 5th. He's had a bit of a crash. So he was catching Braden Martin. He's still in 5th. Sorry. He was catching Braden Martin, but he's had a little bit of an incident.
He was right with Braden last time, if not in front. Yeah, so he's in front of Braden in 4th. Is he just gonna lock a front here and not be able to turn? Hit the, yeah,
Oh,
use
too
that
much
too much
curb.
curb.
On the outside. Oh, Braden. Oh, didn't look like Braden got any damage, or either of them got much damage there, which is good. They got off lightly there a
Hopefully
bit.
not. That's, yeah, it's, but unfortunately they're not holding brakes to sort of rotate him a little bit further around the track. But in saying that, you know, it's hard to sort of determine, you know, if you gas it up, oh yeah, I might be able to grip and go, but hopefully they both get out of that and without any damage. So, you know, only lost one position, long race to go. He's already starting to, where is he actually gone into the, oh, he's fallen behind Peter and sorry, Luke here as well, so he might have had another little off potentially, because it looks like he's about to get passed by the locked on racing car there in P8, so might have had a bad
off,
fourth
and then he
chicane,
might have copped
yeah.
a penalty as well when he went off as well.
Oh, then you know, after that sort of thing, it takes a little bit for the tyres to cool down, get you back in your rhythm as well. That's a tank labour and a half there.
Moment.
Also got a Callan. Oh, you're right. Also looks like Callan Hodgkinson was the first of our pit stoppers 30 minutes into the race there, so he's coming from P10. So we'll keep an eye on that, because obviously he'll get fresh tyres, so he might be able to jump a few people here. He was in a pretty good battle, not too far behind these guys actually, so we'll see if he can.
Pit laps up there on the thing as well.
Yeah, so we had a few people that's pitted early, obviously from damage, being Jacob Hughes, Greg Leake, Chris Tomlin, Peter Morris, and Roy Clark, who all sustained damage on lap 2. Obviously Jacob Hughes on lap 4 when he lost it coming, I believe out of turn 4 there. That's a pretty long pit stop there from Cullen, so I think he's filled up for potentially for the rest of the race there, with a splash and dash in the second pit stop, and I'd say he would take tyres at both stops.
That's smart. He's got some good race pace, so you know it's smart. He made it up quite a few good positions, and he's very you know, he's very good with his racecraft, this man. So it'll be interesting to see whether it pays off for him.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like he's come out there just in front of Christopher Tomlin, so probably take, you know, a lap for these cars to get, lap for the tyres to warm up on a track like this in these sort of cars. So he might fall into the clutches of Chris further into the lap, but we'll keep an eye on that. And I think if he can put in some good lap times here, he's gonna probably come out on the back of Dean Sinkovich, I'd say, after their respective pit stops.
Oh, and he'll slide himself into the top 10 there. Very nice.
So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we'll keep the progress on Callan there, and we'll see where he comes out. But looks like these top 2 are sort of pulling away from Bradley by a little bit, but they're all spread out by about a second. Braden Martin actually he had that incident with Stefan there. So he did a 404, and Luke Crum catching him with a 403. So yet again, Stefan up the front is showing why he's the class in the field as well. So Dan's not too far behind there, only, you know, a second or so, second and a half. Probably just out of the slipstream. He needs to, if he can have a really good forward chicanes here, he'll get onto the back of Stefan again and actually get that slipstream as he's trying to push. You can see.
I'm sure he wouldn't have picked up a penalty there at all. It was pretty close to it. It was a pretty fine line.
Yeah, if you go over those curbs, you do get a slowdown. So looks like you'd be close to it, to be honest.
Oh, nailed those final 2 chicanes, Stefan.
Yeah, see what sort of lap time he's doing, you know, 9 laps into a tank, so he's just done a 59.7, and so is Dan Schultz behind him. So, you know, these guys are bang on the same pace, and Bradley Wall's also come into the pit lane 32 minutes into the race, so looks like all these guys are actually going long. There's not many early pit stoppers except those that obviously had damage that they wanted to use their fast repair for, so we'll keep an eye on Bradley, see where he pops out as Braden there just goes past, so Braden's into the podium positions as it stands. Also,
damage on the front of it.
it looks like Jacob Hughes might have actually pulled the pin for the night, because he's still in the pit lane and has been since that crash on lap 4 by the look of things.
Let's go and have a look at this.
I know, so it looks
Jacob
like
Hughes.
Oh, has he done the same thing again?
Oh no!
Oh, he has done the same thing again almost.
Oh, looks like it's attached itself to the wall too.
Yeah, and then he's in the barrier, so
no.
very similar to his first crash, same spot on the track, but unfortunately the iRacing glitch there has forced him to tow, and I cannot remember how many fast repairs you get in the endurance races, but if he doesn't have any left, that's possibly his night done.
Oh.
We'll keep an eye on that. So Bradley is coming out of the pits now. Roy's just going past on the outside. So Roy has actually made a pit stop as well with that early pit stop on lap 2.
Oh.
So
Nice. So he's
that's
he's
actually
put
a
some gas in there.
positional gain. Sorry, by Roy as these two here just take a little shortcut.
By way of strategy. It still seems
Yeah,
to be a bit blinky though.
yeah, it really comes down to also how much fuel he was able to take. Obviously, putting on lap 2, if he started with a full tank, it may not actually see him, and he may have to 3-stop. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Interesting, hey? Do you think you will see 3 spots intentionally? 3 stop stoppers intentionally? Do you think?
Nah, definitely not intentionally. But if you're unlucky, like Roy was, and get spun on lap 2, if you've already put 100 liters in the tank, you can only fill up about, I think it'd be about 12, 14 liters. He just physically won't have enough fuel to do the remaining, what would have been, hour with another pit stop. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. He may have to do another pit stop, but it's still a long way to go yet. Obviously we're seeing these guys going 35 minutes on a full tank, so he should be able to make it on 2 pit stops, but he may just have to take more fuel than the others as well. As you know, he was only in the pit lane there for, what was it, 10 seconds. So he hasn't taken much fuel at all. Versus...
Same as Peter Morris as well, hasn't taken much as well.
Yeah, and you can see Bradley there.
Gotten some repairs along the way.
Yeah, Bradley's taken the most fuel there at 40 seconds. Sorry, Christopher Tomlin at 52 seconds. He's probably taken a full tank there by Chris. Callan's done 30 seconds, which is quite a quick pit stop. So I think he's splitting his fuel load evenly, which if Dean does a full tank here, when he comes in for his respective pit stop, he may jump him just purely on that. So, and then if there's a safety car, that'll play into Callan's hands real nicely. So obviously these guys are going to be a little bit spread out now until their pit stops will bring each other back together. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll try and keep this broadcast interesting for you guys. But yeah, we'll keep these two here. We'll keep it interesting for us.
To the top 2 now. These guys still haven't pitted, guys. So this is pretty interesting, guys. They've I wonder what's happened there. Seems that Stefan's lost a bit of pace there. Or do you think that's a bit intentional? Just trying to save a bit of gas, short shifting now. Do you think?
I did look. Stefan has only done a 4-minute 0.3 there when he was doing 59.7s, and Daniel Schultz has just done I believe it was 59. 59.4 was it? That just popped up, I believe.
59.39. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So Dan is definitely on the march at the moment, and obviously he's got that slipstream effect. So now that he's made it to the slipstream, I wouldn't be surprised if he just tries to stay there and save a little bit of fuel, obviously where he can.
Very smart, wouldn't it?
Yeah, even if he's used a bit more to catch Stefan, but now that he's behind him, he can save what he used, sort of thing. But it's going to be interesting. This will also give us a good idea what his intentions are, because if he stays behind Stefan here, I'd say he's on a fuel-saving mission. But if he goes for that overtake, he's purely trying to do qualifying lap times and pull away purely on pace. But yeah, looking at this here, I'd say he's probably like half throttle behind Stefan at the moment, just saving fuel. Yeah, definitely. By the look of that, he could have quite easily made a maneuver there with the slipstream effect. So he's trying to play the smart game here and spend less time in the pit lane.
Yeah, true.
But we've also got Stephen Martin.
Save your tyres, save a touch of gas. You'll be sweet. Be nice and smooth, but stay in that
looks like we've got Stephen, Matthew, and Dean all in the pits. So it's we'll keep an eye on. We'll see if we can get on board with Callan Hodgkinson, because he wasn't too far behind Dean Sinkovich in the pit lane, and Dean is still there.
Here we go, let's jump on board.
So Dean is still on the P's at the pit exit. So he's actually going to come out well in front of Callan, which is quite surprising, being in the pit lane 5 seconds longer. So I think Callan has actually just had some bad outlaps by the look of this on cold tyres.
It seems like they're warmed up now at least.
Yeah, it looks like they're there. Well, that's a little curb. But yeah, he's
That
actually
was
come out a lot further behind Dean than I anticipated, even though he had a 5-second 4:03.7. So his lap time hasn't been too bad. I think Dean's just on that low fuel put in a good couple of laps there to stretch the margin. But it looks like
It seems like there might be a bit of a battle between Luke Crum and Peter Pavlovich at the moment. Seem here.
yeah, they're swapping positions every few seconds at the moment. So side by side, I'd say. But yeah, there they go. Luke going past Peter there as they come into. Oh, and then Luke's losing it, and then he saves it, then he lost it.
Hang on. Oh, it's supposed to be left front. Damn it. Oh.
So it looks like Luke's gone off the track there as well, so he's actually going to fall back from Peter a little bit. And probably by the Roy and Bradley behind who have made the pit stop. So we'll get a DSL action replay up here. So Luke's gone down the inside and just that little bit too hot. He's turning it in and he's just sliding it. And then it just sort of grips. So he's only going to lose a few seconds there. So it's not, the end of the world. He's probably lost 5 seconds max by the time he gets back up to speed.
That was very good from Luke not to overcorrect that though, because he so easily could have overcorrected that, and that could have been a very damaged car. So well
for
done
sure.
there. Or it could have been potentially 2 very damaged cars.
Yes, yeah. If he had also slammed on the brakes here and sort of just parked it, there's a good chance that Peter may not have had anywhere to go. So it's going to be interesting. They're also definitely playing the long game up front, and Stefan and Dan are swapping positions here. Well, no, they're both in the pit lane as well, so they're coming in together. So it's going to be interesting on the pit strategy there. So we'll keep an eye on these two. We'll watch these two's pit stops. We'll see. Obviously, they come in nose to tail. So we'll see who's going to take what amount of fuel and who is going to come out in front. Is someone going to take their full fuel load here with only a couple of litres left in the second one, or we'll have a look see. Both at the end of the pit lane. They're both going up on their jacks. It looks like Stefan did go up on the jacks a little bit quicker, which would be the windshield tear off. Just FYI, guys. If you have that ticked off, it saves you a second in the pit lane. So Braden Martin's also, I think so this is the lap that everyone has to pit just purely, they can only get 11 laps out of a tank.
It's not a lot of fuel, is it? For how big these fuel tanks are and all the rest of it, it's just that, obviously
so
just the size of the track.
Taking less fuel by the look of this. So keep an eye on Dan's and make sure he doesn't. He's still in there. I think Dan's taking a lot more fuel here than because I think even Braden's gonna go past Dan here by the look of this.
Too. So that's shuffled it all around a bit. So
that's a lot more fuel than anyone. He's been in there for a minute and 3 seconds.
Is he not coming back in again? He's not even going to take any fuel second pit. Oh, that's interesting.
Unfortunately,
did he have a little? No, he didn't have any damage, did he?
No, and if he did, he would have had a fast repair. So he's been in the pit lane for 1:14, which is generally what it takes, I believe, for a full fueler tank and tyres for a V8 Supercar.
That's insane. Oh yeah. Wow, he's the only one that didn't have damage that went over a minute.
Yeah, the next closest, I believe, was Chris Tomlin at 52 seconds. Greg Leak was also in there for 1:18. Steven Sinkovich for 1:17. So I think Dan is just going for the full fuel load and just going to take a couple of litres when covered by the tyres in the second pit stop. So that's going to be an interesting strategy here. We're going to have to keep an eye on that as looks like Luke's got the best fuel numbers there as he's able to go that extra lap as well. So that could bring him further forward with not having to potentially take more fuel as well, or take less fuel. Sorry.
Yeah, it seems like he's trying to build a gap and try and build enough of the gap so when he does pit, then hopefully he might actually spell an extra spot for him, maybe.
Potentially, we'll have to keep an eye on it and keep an eye out. Just trying to confirm and look in the thing to confirm it is 2 pit stops. That
So, if,
Alright, so
Big Leaks had a bit of a moment.
there's only one compulsory pit stop where you must change a minimum of 2 tyres. Fuel for the race is set to 100% capacity.
Okay.
So that's very interesting as to why.
Oh, well, they're going to have to, you know, technically they're going to have to. I mean,
Yeah, it's. I think Dan might be trying to potentially
just do the
one stop it, because you know they went over 40 minutes there on a tank. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to. So we've got a replay here at Greg Leak coming up to turn 1. We're going to see some action here. Swinging it in a bit late.
Oh.
No, nice and smooth. Hit a few curves. It's actually quite a nice.
Yeah, it's
quite
nice.
a nice section
I
through
don't know
there.
what SDK's saying that he crashed for then.
Probably
it might be still going.
Yeah.
Don't want to jinx it too much. He does look like he's got a bit of damage on the right, the left front there. See, that suspension does look a bit funny. Only slightly.
Potentially just rubbed up against a curb or even another car that we just haven't been able to see there on the live action, but it's definitely bent in a little bit there.
As we know, that fella that comes on the radio.
Yeah, everyone's favourite comms.
Yeah, it's always funny on it's pretty much all you hear on the when you're in the car on Saturday Night Mayhem.
Yeah. Yes, very true. I could imagine.
Here you go, Braden Martin with what a drive.
So
He's up 13 spots, mate, so far.
Yeah, he's even got in front of Bradley Wall as well, who's come back out on 4. So Royce has made that second pit stop as well, back into P11. Yeah, it's going to be interesting here. Look, Rook comes in the pits as we speak. So it's actually effective P2, I believe, for Braden, because Luke was just behind Braden by about 5 seconds prior to this pit stop. So we'll just keep an eye on here as Luke is definitely still in the pits though. Hasn't reached the pit exit yet. Yeah, so it looks like Braden's actually an effective P2 so far.
Wow, up 14 spots now.
Yeah, it's a great race for him, as I mentioned. Obviously, a bit unfortunate there in quali to not set a lap time, but it looks like Luke Crum has actually come out in front of Dan. So Dan's gone from battling for the lead, right with the leader, to P8 with Dean Sinkovic setting his best lap time of 4:01.8 behind him. Oh, and Luke's come out just with Dan and made a bit of contact through that chicane there as Dan goes through with the warmer tyres. So, yeah, Dan's going to have to... He could be onto something that we're just not aware of, as you know, a full tank has only lasted them 40 minutes. So some of these guys might be thinking or committing to a 2-stop strategy, and I think Dan is committing to the 1-stop here and just going to risk it for the win sort of thing.
Risk it for the biscuit?
Yeah, risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, interesting. This is something to watch out for. See if it pays off or not. But you can definitely tell he's not as fast down the straights with how much fuel he's got on board.
Yeah, and it'll be a bit slower in the braking and everything with the carb and all that. A little bit more, I suppose, lethargic. And not as quite responsive as these guys in front, with taking, I'd assume, you know, sort of half tank spend, given the fact that they were only in the pits for, you know, half the time. Probably taking on about 50-ish litres of fuel. So hopefully it wasn't a mistake there by Dan, but obviously we'll be able to keep an eye on it. And Christopher Tomlin's coming for his second pit stop as well. They're out of he came out of P14. So yeah, unfortunately these guys obviously put a lap 2 and 3 and 4 just purely due to crash damage or, you know, getting caught in incidents or making mistakes. Are gonna have to do 2 stops regardless, with just over 20 minutes to go here in this endurance race for round 7 at SRW TV. Don't forget, if you like what you're hearing, give us a like and subscribe, turn that notification bell on YouTube, and every time we go live, you'll see all our broadcasts. We're broadcasting 4 nights a week at the moment. Probably say Saturday night is the most fun. been the Saturday Night Mayhem, where
Yep.
anything goes, essentially.
Yeah, the rules
Uh,
are there's no rules. Yeah.
Exactly, and if you are enjoying, these endurance V8 supercar races, we do have a 6-hour, 3-round, V8 supercar endurance series coming up as well with SRW. So if you do fancy, driving that or testing yourself against some of these guys, there's no restrictions. Obviously, some of the entry fee there is 50% entry fee is going to Black Dog. Is it Institute? I believe it was.
Yeah, the Black Dog Institute. Yeah.
That's the one. So, if you want to come and join our racing, you're more than welcome to join that series. Show us what you got. And obviously, the next season is probably opening up in the next couple of weeks as well for registrations to get them in early as well. So, 3 rounds left in this season. Keep an eye on what we're doing, but you can also join us for the next season and that Endurance V8 Supercar series.
Very nice. It's very exciting racing, and this series has been we're going to the European tracks, so especially with these things like the V8s, you just don't tend to see them here ever, at these European tracks and stuff. And I kind of the more we go to European tracks, I would actually love to see these V8 supercars go to some of these tracks in real life, because it would be amazing. I think. What a spectacle.
Yeah, for sure. Some of them, like Le Mans, I probably wouldn't, but definitely ones more along the lines of, Zandvoort, Snetterton.
Yeah.
So obviously Spa. Yeah, that would be
definitely.
awesome
That
to
would
see.
be
Amazing. Most of those tracks, for the most part, these cars can handle it. Obviously, with the gearing ratios, they probably couldn't really do Le Mans. But Spa's straight would be very similar to Conrod on Bathurst in terms of its undulation. Obviously, going up through Eau Rouge, you'd lose a little bit of, that top end sort of it, and then the draft would keep you along. So, yeah, there's definitely some tracks. Obviously, we finish with, I think the next ones we got next week is our round 8 at Snetterton.
Snetterton, that's going to be fun.
I believe it's
fast track.
Is it Alton? Alton Park is round 9, I believe. I could be completely wrong there and misjudging. I know we go to Zandvoort as well, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, we go Snetterton, Zandvoort. I'll find out. Hang on, give me a sec. Where are we? That one race calendar. And Imola, of course. How can I forget Imola? Which these cars are actually good fun to drive around Imola with their curbs and.
I haven't actually given these a bell around. I might have to
do this
after our broadcast tonight.
It's good fun. These things around Imola, they can attack curbs like no other car can. It's so much fun.
Yeah, but what's the name of that corner? As you come over the right-hander and you come over the little bit of the hill, then you come right. You gotta get hard on the brakes.
Third to last corner.
Yeah. Oh mate, that would take a lot of people by surprise. I think that would be where I'd come across. I know that for a fact.
Sure. Looks like we've got Dan Schultz and Luke Crum about to change positions here in the background there. So Dan Schultz has definitely been hindered a little bit by his fuel load, as Luke's going to make that pass on the inside. Nice and clean.
Slow down. I have clicked it. Just bear with SDK for a second, guys. I'm trying to go to Daniel Schultz and old mates.
So we can see it there in the background as well.
Yay! There we go. We're on board with that, guys.
So yeah, it's yeah. So
we nailed that exit, that corner, and that exit. Well done, boys. Oh. Daniel Schultz and we got Daniel Schultz and there we go.
Yeah, so it looks like there's a couple of battle packs there between Luke and Dan, Peter and I believe it's Matthew there, Matthew
yeah.
There's a couple of battle packs there. Looks like the top 3 are very much spread out, but for the most part, yeah, exactly. And boys made a position back into the top 10 after making that second pit stop. These guys are going side by side in corners you wouldn't normally do that. Good racing, boys. Luke's going to hold that position there, and it's Daniel's still got the fastest lap of the race, so he's got the pace. But yeah, I think he's definitely planning to go with the 1-stop when others might potentially be doing that 2-stop strategy. So if that is the case, that's Dan can't really afford to be caught up here behind Luke. He needs to clear him and make hay essentially to try and catch these boys down.
Yeah, 100%. Or he's biting. I think he's just trying to be patient. But now, hey. But
Yeah, if Luke's got the pace and Luke's catching these guys in front as well, I'd sort of probably just tag
stay
along
with
more.
the pack, yeah.
Yeah, especially
Try
if
and
you've
let
got
him
more fuel, to sort of let him drag you towards them. But
yeah, like a horse and buggy. Come
yeah,
on, buddy.
essentially.
Pull me along. Yeah.
We'll see what sort of lap times they're doing because Bradley Wall's just in a 4 minute point 3 versus Braden Martin a 4 minute point 2, so that 4 minute 2.6. So he's just gained a couple of seconds here on Braden. So.
But look at Stefan's time, mate. Look, Stefan just broke the 4-minute mark once again. So
Yeah, so these guys are all going pretty quick.
Yeah, it's still going pretty quick. I'll put it
Looks
to
like Braden
last
might
lap
have
time,
just.
so guys.
Braden might have just had a little bit of a bobble there on his lap, but yeah, Luke and Dan doing a 403.1 and a 403.9. They're not gaining anything on these guys. They're actually losing, 3 seconds a lap just to Stefan up the front, and even 3 seconds lap to Bradley there, who's done a 4-minute mark. So yeah, it's
Daniel
unfortunately
has dropped down a couple of spots here.
He's just fallen down behind Dean Sinkovic actually, so he might have made a
Hang on,
mistake.
we've
going
just
into
had a
the
bit of an
push
incident
games.
here, guys. I think we'll just jump onto it.
Come on to it yourself. So they're coming into turn 1. Nice swinging turn. He's gone for a move. I think he's just going to go.
Right.
Oh, that's.
Oh no! There
Looks
wasn't
like
much
he's
in
just
that, was
over
there?
rotated himself there. So I think
like
that's pretty much his race done for race win there on strategy. Losing another 5 seconds, but Dean's on a bit of a mission here actually. He gained on these guys a few seconds on the previous lap, so with that incident there as well, he's not going to be far away from the rear of Luke. He's probably about 5 seconds.
No, he's got a bonnet. He's faster.
Exactly. So I think he's about 5 or so seconds behind Luke. As you can see, Luke just up there on the top of the screen. So
he's on a push, isn't he?
Yeah. So if he keeps at this pace, he's gonna make it up to him by the end of the race. But we'll go back to live and see how he's tracking along. So yeah, he was 2 seconds faster last lap than Luke, and you can see him there in the background. He is gaining. He's actually going faster than P4, 5, and 6 at the moment. So he's on a little bit of a mission.
Come on, son. Oh, look at that. He is absolutely on a mission. Let's jump into in a helicopter and see how fast he can catch this dude.
So we should be able to see Luke just on the he's just on the exit there, and as we've done it. We've done it again every time.
Oh, every time. Why do we always do it to the bosses? Bloody hell.
It's the most fun.
Yeah.
That's right. He's still in P8.
Steven Sinkovic has had a bit of an incident too here, by the look of it. Not sure what's happened.
Wherever looks he is, he's coming.
Because the commentators are being no! Oh, it's a nice drift though. Oh, it's very no caught.
Stay there.
Oh, whoa, that was close.
Yeah, he did the right thing though, just holding his brakes, making the other car.
100%. Let the other car go around you, otherwise you're asking for trouble, aren't you? So Dean's still up in the top 10 though, so he's done a very good job to stay up into the top 10 here, guys. Daniel Schultz down into the 9th, and he seems like he's catching
yeah, with that little off there of Dean before, he would have gained most of that time back that he lost. So I'd say if Daniel can find his rhythm, he'll be back onto Dean in the next sort of lap or two and probably get past him. But we've only got approximately 6 laps to go for the leaders, or 5 more after their lap, because obviously they're already sort of halfway around their lap. So 5 laps to go. These top 2 have gone pretty quick. Stefan's just done a 59.6 and Braden's done a 4-minute dead. So
he's flogging it.
They sure are. And Bradley's in a podium position here, so he might be on to grab his first podium of this whole season in Super 2. Because he's actually going a second quicker than Stephen is in P4, so
Oh, it's a
these
big
three are
gap.
definitely putting it on so far.
And as you see, guys, we'll stay in this chopper view for a bit here because everyone's kind of broken up a bit. So we'll try and find the battle packs as we go. We've got a little bit of a battle pack here with Matthew Mites and Peter Pavlovich.
Yeah, they're pretty close to him. Matthew's made a couple of little mistakes, but obviously he's still got some pace to keep together as Peter runs quite wide onto the blue ripple strip side of it there, and it's going to give Matthew a nice run coming down here. So we'll see what what happens coming down into this first chicane.
Oh yes, he's already caught. Oh, he's got plenty of straight left too. He might make this happen actually. He might achieve this one.
He's pulling alongside. He's probably just in front at the moment. Yeah, Peter's going to, I think, set him up for a run here. As they're only just behind Stephen as well. It's a lot of inside curve there by Peter, but he's going to get a run here with the slipstream. As soon as they hit about 5th gear into 6th, you'll see him just pull on Matthew from about now. You'll see him just start to reel him in down the straight. I think he might actually be trying to slow down because he's actually losing. I think Peter's.
Oh, he might have gone a bit wide earlier.
I think he just took too much inside curb there at that chicane, trying to get a run on Matthew there. So he's actually had to clear his slow down, unfortunately. But so he's going to actually probably fall out of the draft range of Matthew there.
Oh, this point, Luke Crumb on his own back there, Dino.
Yeah, we'll have a run through the whole field, and we'll see if there's any battle packs that we can
stay. Let's go from the back then, eh? We've got Jacob Hughes at the back.
But Leave is still on the pits.
Come on, STK, you can do it, buddy.
So he's showing us he's out. So I believe he has decided to pull the pin, and
that was his broken car, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
Peter Wilkinson is back in the pits also because he's had a bit of another crash also, it seems. We can go back and just quickly check on his crash, and then we'll continue with the rest of the field.
Just coming into the straight where everyone's sort of been having those issues. He's actually got a nice track. Oh, just into the grass. Yeah, just sand, grass, and again another barrier that's just locked him in there because he's trying to get out.
Weird.
Oh, I think
maybe
it happened
iracing
last
just
season.
You're not supposed to be in V8 around this track.
I think it was last season it sort of got this glitch sort of appeared, and it just seems to happen more and more now.
It's a very Assetto Corsa glitch kind of style. So it happens a lot in Assetto Corsa with barriers and stuff. So Peter Wilkinson, then we have Greg Leake. Oh, he's had a bit of an incident too, Greg Leake. Oh, Dean Sinkovich and Stephen Sinkovich have both had a crash at the back there. Daniel Schultz has just had another crash. Callan Hodgkinson's had a crash too, mate. Wow. Which one should we start with?
Oh, we'll go from the back to the front.
Yeah, cool. What is it doing?
So he's just crashed. No. So it looks like we might be having a couple of technical difficulties here with SDK. But we'll see what's happening here to Stephen.
Okay. Replay. No. Yes, there we go. We're back on the replay again. See what happened to Stephen. Apologies, guys. Oh.
Almost an action replay of what he's...
Again.
Yeah, he's
in the same... Oh. And old Chrisos had to... Choppers had to try and get past him there. So, and then we have Dean Sinkovich. Oh, Daniel
he's
Schultz.
got Dan right behind him.
Absolutely.
Oh, this isn't going to end well. Oh, he's actually just locked it. I thought Dan might have been a two-car crash here, but he's just locked the rears on turning.
Yeah. Ouch. And then finally, Callan Hodgkinson, and then we'll go back through the point. So I'm not sure what's happened here.
I think he's probably just taken a lot of inside curve.
Oh
no, he's just. Oh. I think he's just not paying attention to where he's going.
Wow.
And
either that or a wheel disconnect. That looked like a wheel disconnect to me. Because he was kind of
Possibly.
going down the straight, and then he wasn't.
Potentially, but yeah, unfortunately that's put Callan's good run to an end there.
That will
And
have finished his race, I'm sure. Steven Sinkovic now down into 14th. Chris Tomlin up into 13th now. Greg Johnston, after an early incident, a bit of a lock-up, and he's gone a bit sideways, but he's done really well to get back up to P12 now. He's 3 positions up from where he started. He didn't have the strongest qualifying. So Peter Morris is he's done well, but he's back into his same spot that he started in the 11th spot. Roy Clark. He is down 4 spots in the number 21 car. So unfortunate for him. It seemed like he had a bit of net code and stuff going on, so maybe some mechanical issues, as we like to say. Dean Sinkovic in the top 10 there. So yeah, we've got Dean Sinkovic in 9th. We've got Daniel Schultz up into 8th now. With a couple of little incidents, he did do a massive pit stop. He's he's doing the 1 stop, but he seems to have had a much longer pit stop than everybody else, and then had a bit of a hard time with a lot of fuel on board. So Luke Crum, Matthew Mites in 6th, and then the top 5 guys. Our top 5 will go from first to 5th, and I'll hand it back to you, Stefan.
yeah, all good. So got Stefan Lawrence. Yeah, he does it. Stefan Lawrence has got quite a big gap actually by the look of it. We can't see Braden at all on the background. He was a second slower on the last lap than Braden, but he looks like he's got at least a 10-second gap there without Braden being even in the picture coming into these 4 chicanes. As he's going to start, I'm going to say this is going to be his last lap with only 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, definitely will be.
This should be the last lap of the race, guys. I could be wrong. It might let you do another lap with 20 seconds to go, but I wouldn't picture it. So it looks like he's got at least 10 seconds, if not more, over Braden there. But Bradley is catching Braden. You can see it right there. He was a second quicker than the last lap. He's only 5 seconds behind him on track. So if Braden has a little whoopsie moment, essentially, in this lap, Bradley's going to be right on him and can get a P2 out of this, potentially. Obviously, it's unlike Braden to make mistakes, but we saw it in qualifying. So that could be something to watch closer towards the end of the race here in the dying minutes.
Bradley Wall's had a bloody beautiful race today, hasn't he?
He is. He's driven really well. You know, put it on. What was it, P3? You know, he's stayed and he's been able to hold that position, which has sort of been his downfall so far, I'd say, in this season. He's had good quality results, but he just hasn't been quite able to hold them, and he's always fallen down, whether it has been his mistakes or someone else's mistakes. So it's good to see that he's
best luck in weeks in past, has he?
Yeah, it's good to see that he's holding that position. As you said earlier, he mentioned on Thursday night that this is sort of one of his favourite tracks at the moment. So yeah, he's definitely proving that, and he's driving very well tonight.
Very impressive. The boys will be boys at the race team will be happy. So...
Yeah, can't imagine why they wouldn't be.
Stephen Martin with a great drive as well in that KFC car. We've seen some great drives from him this season so far.
Yeah,
he's been very consistent.
Absolutely, he's always
sort of spot, right? Hey, around that 4th, 5th position. He's had a win or 2.
He did pretty well at, I believe, Silverstone and battled Braden for the wins there.
Yeah,
but no, he's definitely always there or thereabouts. You never write him off. It does look like some of these guys have got their strategy right. Some of them might have been in the pit a little bit too long. Obviously, that comes down to a lot of practice as well, as to determine your actual fuel runs and that sort of stuff. But you know, there's still a good battle here. Stephen's only just in front of this battle for 5th, Peter, Matthew, and Luke. So you know, anything can happen here in these dying or this last lap.
Daniel doesn't have anywhere near enough gap, does he? So stay on the battle pack then, eh?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's I wonder if Dan just went with the low fuel load at the start of the race to try and jump some people and hope for safety cars, and it just hasn't worked out. Because yeah, it's a bit interesting that he was in the pit lane for 30 seconds longer than anyone else, essentially.
Yeah, very strange, hey?
Oh, and Matthew's just gone off there, and he's just allowed Luke to go back through. Yeah, on the last lap there. It's a bit unfortunate there.
That
so Luke,
so he's lost his. Peter Pavlovich is going to hold these guys up for the top 5 though, which would be good.
yeah, and double top 5 for Century Motorsport there in P4 and 5. So I'm sure they'll be happy with their performances as a team as well tonight.
The new team
Working
will be
together
very
to
happy
get that
with
top
him.
5. Yeah, exactly. So, no, I think everyone's driven really well tonight so far. There's obviously been minimal 2-car accidents, which for obviously Le Mans it's quite hard to have multiple car accidents unless it is sort of a first lap
Yeah,
occurrence,
but
essentially.
yeah, unless it's people kind of doing making mistakes and then re-entries, or there's a lot of times that we see, as we've seen tonight, it's not that hard to have a 2-car crash between them, but it's just if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time and you've got nowhere to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just jump up to
the
the leaders here as well to see if it is their last lap or not. So we've got Stefan Lawrence going through turn 1. Still looks like he is on it, so it looks like they got one more lap to go.
One more lap again. There we go, guys. So this will be the final lap now. Braden Martin, and Brad Wall wrap up our top 3 guys.
So,
Stephen Martin and Peter Pavlovich in the KFC cars for Century
yeah,
Motorsports.
so Braden and Bradley there are doing the pretty same lap times, but Stefan Lawrence has just pulled out the fastest lap of the race on the penultimate lap. So
Whoa.
he's not leaving anything behind. But then Luke Crumb's just beaten it. Luke Crum has just done a 3:59.1. What a lap!
Wow, snap! That was incredible. What a lap! Has he got some? Wow, on that. Whoa.
So he could actually take
Peter.
this
I
top
thought
5
Peter would have
lap,
had this for the 5th, but he might not.
Well, Peter's just done his fastest lap of a 4:01 dead as well. So if Luke continues this up, he's gonna catch Peter, because if he gets in the draft, that's another instant gain.
Yep. And all he really needs is a couple of hard braking zones to be able to get onto the back of Peter. So, ooh, this is interesting. What a finish to a race for 70 minutes, guys. And it comes down to this. This is cool, mate.
Yeah,
and you're gonna love these little battles for the in the top 10.
Absolutely, it's they might not be fighting for the win, but it's it's a win for some of these people. Season best results. You always fight for every position you can get, and all points matter towards the end, especially in teams championships as well.
Oh, and especially if you're sitting in Luke Crumb's car and you do the last lap of the race, you do penultimate lap of the race, you do the fastest lap. If you can help keep that, it's still you walk away with your head held pretty high, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's
he's definitely catching him here.
He's about I'm gonna say about 1.2 seconds back at the stage. So if he can get a good run out of here, he's closed right up under brakes. So if he can get a good run through here, take some nice little inside curb and get a good acceleration, he's in that slipstream now. So yeah, this is I think it's going to be a move into Indianapolis or into the Porsche curbs. If he's not done it by Porsche curbs, I think Peter's going to be able to hold it through those last chicanes, because it's obviously very hard to make a move through there.
It is. Although I don't know, the Mustangs do seem like they're a bit better under brakes, but the Holdens look like they get a bit better of an exit. So it's just one of those sort of catch-22 things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also, as I say, there's no setups made for Le Mans that I'm aware of. So obviously you want to take as much wing out of these cars as you physically can, but it's also a matter of gearing ratios and stuff. If you've got a higher top end and you've got the draft like Luke does here, he's going to make a lot more gains as he's going to send it on the inside. Peter's got to defend this. The draft is so OP. Oh, Luke's going to send it down the inside. He's there. Can he hold it around the outside?
Indianapolis, on the outside of Indianapolis. That takes some balls. That does. That's insane.
That's a great move by Luke on the last lap. There it is. He's going to hold P5, I'm going to say, to the end, unless he goes too wide into here. But nah, if he can make it through these Porsche curves, he's got that win. But we'll jump on board with these leaders now as they approach the finish line as well. we now SDK wants to work.
Don't do this on our last lap, SDK. Yeah.
There we go. So you've got
There we
Stefan Lawrence
go.
coming across the line after a 70-minute enduro, taking the full 450 points there for Riot Sim Racing. So he's going to be super happy with his results there, and he will extend that championship lead. This battle for second is not over yet. As Braden's coming into these final chicanes, he can't afford to lock a rear tyre or rear brake, or make any mistakes because Bradley is right there. So we'll keep an eye as he got the curbs here. Braden's going to make them last curbs work, and so does Bradley, and they're going to come through for a P2 and P3. Season best for Bradley Wall there in P3, so good on him, and congratulations to Bradley of Crisscross there for P3. We've got Stephen Martin in P4 for Century Motorsports. This battle's not over between Luke and Peter. Who's going to get it coming to the line? Peter's got a bit. Luke's going to hold it there for Crumb Racing in P5, so great result there, and from Luke in the last few laps. Peter Pavlovich P6, Matthew Mites P7. I got Daniel Schultz coming through in P8, which again is very surprising. He took so much time in the pits, but it could have been just a strategy thing. That's a slowdown, I think, there by Dean. Potentially.
Roy Clark got the same slowdown by the look of it, though.
Yeah, so depends if they cleared it or not as to whether they keep it. That's P9 and P10. P9 for Dean, P10 for Roy, and we've got Christopher Tomlin coming. Actually, we've got a little bit of a battle here for P11, 12, and 13 between Christopher Tomlin, Greg Johnson, and Steven Sinkovich. They're all not too far apart, so this could be a battle for the minor placements as well. If Christopher Tomlin can keep it clean through this last sector, he's going to get a P11 result just out of the points there. And Greg has run a little bit deep, which might open him up to Steven Sinkovich if Steven's got a good run, because he was 4 seconds a lap faster than Greg last lap. So if Steven can get a good run through these Porsche curbs, there is still that passing opportunity into the chicanes, but as we saw there, it's very easy to defend and hold your position through the last 4 chicanes. So see if Steven's going to... He's got a nice run there, Steven. He's definitely making ground, but I just don't think he's going to make it quick enough.
Yeah, it might be too much of an ask there, but we'll go back to... Oh, is he going to be able to catch him here? He might be able to, mate.
Oh, he's going to run too wide. I think he's had to hold the plate. And Steven's got the slowdown by running too wide as well, so... I think these are going to be the finishing position. So we're going to have Christopher Tomlin P11, Greg Johnson P12, and Steven Sinkovich there in P13. Peter Morris in, Greg Leake in P14, Peter Morris in P15 finishes off the running cars. You have Callan Hodgkin P16, Peter Wilkinson P17, and Jacob Hughes in P18 to round out our grid for tonight.
Beautiful.
So as we look to get these drivers, these top 3 into our broadcast room for interviews here, we'll just play a couple of advertisement ads as well, so whilst we sort this out for you guys.
everybody?
It's coming up right.
Just waiting to see if I can see Stefan in the Discord, but it doesn't look like I can. Right, we'll drag Bradley Wallen from Crisscross first for P3.
Sounds
Let
good.
me. Welcome, Bradley, to first podium, I suppose, chat. Well done, P3.
Thanks, Stefan. That was a hard one, but I enjoyed that.
Yeah, you were actually gaining on Braden there a couple of tenths a lap there at the end. So, did you think you could catch him?
Yeah, that was my aim, but then I got to slow down. Coming off that last corner, probably second or third to last lap kind of thing, and that's killed my chance of catching him.
Yeah, I suppose it just took you out of the draft sort of potential, and then once you're out of the draft, it is quite hard to catch someone.
Yeah, especially on this track. You get that slow down that nails you for the whole next sector.
Oh, good man. Well done on your first podium. Is there anyone who want to say thanks to before we chuck you back into the green room?
Just like to say thanks to the Crisscross team and Callan. It was a bit quiet in that one, but yeah, the Crisscross sponsors. And the guys at SRW for chucking this on. That was great.
So, man, well, hopefully, 3 rounds to go. We might see you back in here over those rounds. So,
Yeah.
best of luck.
Hopefully. Thanks, man.
Awesome. And who...
Hey, Braden, how you going?
Thanks, boys. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Very good.
Pretty good race result there after a unfortunate quali, I suppose.
Yeah, I hadn't really had too much practice. I did a little bit on Friday, but couldn't really get to grips with this track. And then I was somehow squeezed into the split two of the Scops race this week. So I actually did that just before. So my concentration levels are a little bit overloaded at the moment, to be honest.
Fair enough.
And
Fair
another
enough.
70 minutes around Le Mans. Is it a bit more taxing on you as well, I'm sure?
Yeah, pretty much. It was very hard to sort of keep focused, and then sort of by the end I started to learn the track pretty well, which was nice. But then I had to fuel save a fair bit in that second stint as well. So it was kind of just trying to manage the gap back to Brad and just not let him get too close to catch the draft, but then just keep the fuel burn as low as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so obviously a good race result there. Anyone you want to say thanks to before we chuck you back into the green room?
Yeah, just shout outs to the Locked On lads. If you want to have a listen to all the things happening in the local iRacing community, feel free to jump in and listen to the Locked On iRacing podcast with a few of us. And then just the sponsors, Brewster.coffee. And you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's been nice to go back each week and have a look.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you. Hopefully, 3 rounds to go. Stefan has sort of pulled away in the championship lead a little bit there, but anything can happen. Still another enduro triple points round coming up at Imola later. So best of luck for that, and we'll hopefully see you here in the next rounds.
Thanks, boys. If he wants to run out of fuel or something sometime, that'd be really great.
We'll give him the advice.
Cheers.
I love it.
Oh, welcome, Stefan, and another race win for you tonight.
Yeah, no, it is.
And also being the enduro round triple points, you get all 450 of them, so extend your championship lead. So, 3 rounds to go. Is the championship in your mind at all at the moment?
Yeah, no, that's all I'm focusing on. Just trying to make sure that I'm always that couple tenths quicker than Braden. So we always have good battles and stuff, and yeah, no, just want to win it. So that's mindset.
Nice. He did say that we could say to you to run out of fuel anytime that you want to. So whether you want to take that on board or not, that's your decision.
Oh, I don't know about that one, but I might consider it. I think he's a nice guy, so I won't. I might consider it. I'll consider it.
Sweet as, man. Well, again, well done on race win and pole position. So you got all, and unfortunately, you didn't quite get fastest lap there. Luke pinched it from you on the second to last lap, so not quite all three, but well done on the race. Anyone you want to say thanks to before we finish our broadcast?
I just want to thank Bliss and Holmes, Captain Custom Works, FU Suicide, and Jason Cassan Floor Sanding, and also the boys at Right Racing as well. They're just, yeah, I appreciate everything, and you know, we're a good bunch of blokes, and now it's good that we can all race together, and now it's good. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys as well for doing awesome commentary, and yeah.
Oh, good man. Thank you. We tried not to botch your name this week.
No, that's fine. I'm kind of used to it at this point.
I know the feeling. So yeah, best of luck for the last 3 rounds, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Susie, easy, thank you.
Keep safe.
Oh, I'll leave you to take us out, Toddy.
Cool as. Cool as. So I hope you've all really enjoyed tonight, guys. Just a shout out and a massive thank you to you all for joining us tonight for the DSL Welding V8 Supercars Super 2s at Le Mans. It's been an awesome night. Massive shout out to our sponsors, DSL Welding, Dragonrc, the promo department, of course, and all of you at home that have joined us tonight. Much love. Keep safe. Signing off from myself, Chef Toddy, and Stefan McCartan. So yeah, keep safe, and we shall see you on Tuesday. Cool. Bye.
See you guys.